Hey, my name is Robert. Welcome back to Fight Pics. This is episode 18, and today I'm going to be covering O'Shaquie Foster versus Raymond Ford. This is a great stylistic matchup here. Two great boxers. I'm going to jump into it and cover Raymond Ford's fight style and some of the issues he has with this game as well. Raymond Ford is a 5'7" southpaw boxer puncher who likes to box technically and initiate the action with power punches. He is more aggressive than the typical boxer puncher. Ford holds a traditional guard and switches to a Philly shell occasionally. Ray Ford is heavy on his 1-2. It is a combination that he throws often and finds a lot of success with. He will add in other shots after his straight left. Sometimes it's a jab and sometimes it's a right hook. Ray Ford has solid combinations to the head and to the body once he has his opponent stationary. He rips hooks to the body and uses his gloves in order to make space for these shots to land cleanly. He puts good power into these combinations and they can land heavy at times. These combos start with either his jab or his straight left hand, and he has great precision with these combos. Ford likes to frame with his lead hand. He does this to measure range and often builds offense off of it, and he most commonly uses his jab. He also throws hooks or uppercuts after framing, but not as much as he does with his straight punches. Other times he will frame on the inside after throwing a combination in order to establish his range once again. Defensively, Raymond Ford likes to use his guard to parry or deflect straight punches. He rolls or blocks hooks and also has good footwork to help him evade these shots. Ford is a dog. He went 12 rounds with Nick Ball and arguably beat him on the cards. Besides that alone, he fought Nick Ball's fight and made it very close with him. His record doesn't show it, but Ray Ford can punch. When Ray Ford sits on a single shot, he can generate good power. He showed this in his fight against Orlando Gonzalez and in his late rally against Otabek Kolmatov. I've always called Ray Ford a sneaky puncher because he can punch when he sits down on a shot. Ford has shown a good chin so far in his career. The only moment that I know he's been hurt is in his fight against Kolmatov. He got stunned by an overhand left but was able to recover. Ford has openings in his guard to straight and looping shots, but so far he has done a good job of avoiding these shots for the most part. Kolmatov had the most success landing these shots around the guard of Ray Ford in their fight, and he had success with his straight punches as well. O'Shaquie Foster is a 5'8" switch hitter who primarily fights in the orthodox stance. He is a boxer puncher as well, but leans towards the more technical side of boxing, opposed to Ford's mix-up of pressure fighting and technical boxing. Foster also alternates between his traditional guard and his Philly shell, but more recently he has been preferring his Philly shell. Foster has a great jab and a great straight rear hand. And of course I say rear hand because he switches stances. His 1-2 is his most commonly thrown combo, and it is also his most successful combo. He has stunned many fighters with this combo, and it has proven to be fight altering in many situations because fighters struggle to find answers for it. Foster is a solid counterpuncher. It isn't his main skill, but he does have good counter ability. He has most success countering when it is off of his Philly shell or just traditional guard defense. His catch and shoot counters are his most eye-catching counters. Power-wise, Foster can have good solid power when he sits on his punches. However, he does not possess that kind of killer power that can define fights. He has shown his power in moments when it matters the most, but he isn't sleeping people. It is more his precision that leads to big moments rather than his raw power. One of the things I was most impressed by when watching O'Shaquie Foster fight was his distance management. He has great range control with his feet, and he is also able to be in range when he wants to. This benefits him in his offense and also his defense. If his opponent makes a mistake and exits range and tries to reset, Foster's footwork allows him to cover this distance and get his range back. Defensively, Foster uses his shoulder roll to deflect all variations of punches. He is very successful at this, but at times he can be caught over his shoulder with looping shots. The straight punches sometimes land as well, and like I said, they're over the top of his shoulder. Foster also uses his high guard defense occasionally, but it isn't his go-to. As I mentioned earlier, his footwork is also a defensive. As I mentioned earlier, His footwork is also a defensive technique that he likes to use. He steps back sometimes, which makes his opponents fall over themselves. He did this effectively at times against Robson Conceição when he would throw his own offense. Foster has also shown a great chin so far in his career. He has taken some solid shots throughout his career, and to my knowledge, he has only been stunned once, which was against Eduardo Hernandez. And even in that fight where he got stunned, he recovered and went on to stop Hernandez the round after. Okay, now I'm going to be covering my predictions and fight specifics. Just straight off the bat, looking at the fight specifics, this fight is an extremely high level boxing match. And not to mention, it's between two very underrated talents. In this fight, Foster is the more experienced fighter and has shown his skill against the best. Ford is the younger fighter and has experience too, but he doesn't have as much as Foster. When Ford has taken a step up in competition and fought higher level fighters, it has usually been pressure fighters that he has been matched up against. Nick Ball and Otabek Komotov, for example, are not fighters who rely on their boxing ability to win fights. Oshaki Foster, however, has been facing high-level and elite boxers for a while. He recently schooled Stephen Fulton, who is elite in his boxing game, and he had 2 fights against Olympic gold medalist Robson Conceição. Sure, the second fight was close, but that first fight was one of the worst robberies I've ever seen. Foster schooled Conceição in that first fight. When I watched Foster schooling fighters like Fulton and Ford not really having any high-level boxing matches against fighters as skilled as himself, it makes me wonder how Ford will look in there against someone who can match everything he has. Technically, both guys are gritty and there is no question about either of their hearts. Foster had a scary fight against Eduardo Hernandez where he was down on the cards, but he rallied for a final round finish. Ford had a scary fight of his own, but against Otabek Komotov. He was down on the cards and also rallied for a final round finish. This is a stylistic matchup where I don't think a final round finish will happen. This fight will go the distance and it will be a boxing match. This is definitely one of the best boxing matches of recent boxing. In a pure boxing match, I favor the older, but not too old, and more experienced fighter, which is Oshaki Foster. Ray Ford is a great boxer in his own right, but I believe he will get outpointed. Ford will likely have success with his combinations on the inside, but Foster will have responses for these shots with his own combinations to the head and to the body and his straight punches. It will be close, but as I said, I am favoring the more experienced fighter. My pick is Oshaki Foster by unanimous decision. I say the cards will be close, probably like 116, 112, but Foster will find the lead at some point. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Fight Picks. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get this fight pick out sooner into the week because I had some events going on, maybe or may not have graduated. Anyways, I mean, this is a great fight. I'm looking forward to this. The rest of the card isn't that good, I can't lie. It's really top heavy with this one really good main event, which is probably going to go 12 anyways, so I'm sure that venue is probably a small venue. They definitely didn't put this in an arena or something. But it's going to be a great pure boxing match, which I always love these because they're fun to score. They're fun to just sit back and score. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know who y'all got in the comments for this one. Close fight. Let me know who y'all got. See y'all next time.